yeah, all weekend long, you know. It was like sunny, cloudy, windy, not windy. It's like, well, what do you expect for April in Montana? I mean, 50s during the day, 30s during the night. If you're lucky, 60s. If you're unlucky, 20s and 10s, you know. Probably have snow, probably half a dozen times, Andy. I mean, come on, you know. What, window? What? Sunshine came softly through my window today. Bum, 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 bum. Could have tripped out easy, but I've changed my way. Down, down, and down. What? Little Donovan? I mean, come on. I got stuck in my head. That's all we were listening to. Donovan. And red light is on. Live from New York, it's Saturday night. Bum, 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 bum. Wait a minute, it's Easter morning, and we're in central Montana. Come on. Oh, well. Rock said you don't have to put on that red light. Man, I'm still hyped up from 420 yesterday. Heck with Easter, it was 420 and Easter. Yeah, one day. Alrighty then, Andy. Good morning. It is Monday, April 21st. And a happy Easter Monday to everybody. Before we get any further, okay, let's get this out of the way. Remember to give this podcast right over here. It's a big thumbs up. Come on, give me a thumbs up. Come on, how bad? How hard does it take? Goes down, a thumbs down, thumbs up. And right over here, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's right over here, and that way you'll be notified of any new content on my channel. And you'll have a chance to win fabulous prizes. Yes, sir. Fabulous. And where's my prop? Where is it? You know what's coming, everybody. Where's the prop? Right there. Look at that canine, that good boy on the front cover right there. Remember, today's show is brought to you in part each and every Monday morning by our good friends down at the Great Falls Gazette. Yes, sir. The Great Falls Gazette, it is locally owned, locally operated, local reportings on local stories, local issues, local this, local that. I bet you they're down there mimeographing them right now as we speak. Getting ready for Tuesday's edition. It's available every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. This is yesterday's edition with the good boy on the front, K9. What do you do? That good boy sees 2.2 pounds of meth. Good boy. And I also see that we are not on the cover, Andy. I'm not on the cover, so hit it. Gonna buy 5 copies for my mother. Hey, gonna see my smiling face on the cover of the Great Falls Gazette. Oh, yeah. How long did it take Dr. Hook to get onto the cover of the Rolling Stone? Did it take this long? Why don't you get back to me, throw it up there, we'll do a poll, do whatever thing. This is probably where we're going to end up instead of the front. We'll end up on the back pages, my back pages by the birds. America's Most Wanted Crime Stoppers. Who's on here now? We got Dwayne, Gregory, Oracle, and Denise. Didn't Denise... We did that last week. Yeah, she was the one down the hall. Right. All right. Get your copy today. Thanks, you guys. Always a pleasure to have them aboard. All right, it is Easter Monday. Like I said, it's not a federal holiday, so to speak. A lot of people take it off. There's got some religious on occasions. Most schools are closed due to spring break. And, of course, it's time for, it's Monday, right? It's spring break. Kids aren't out in school. And it's time today. What else? It's been going on a long time, Andy. I mean, it has. 1800s, I do believe, it's when it started. What we're talking about is the annual Easter egg roll on the south lawn of the White House, which will be probably starting, right about now. It's they're on Eastern time. We're on Mountain time, and it's 8 minutes past 8 o'clock, which means it's a little after 10 back east. So they're probably getting rolling. See what I did there? Easter egg rolling. You got all right. The Easter egg roll was first hosted, throw it up there, by President Rutherford B. Hayes in 1978. And now they have over 30,000 eggs today, Andy. 30,000, over 30,000 eggs, with eggs pricing. Oh, what an extravaganza, huh? It's hosted by President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump. This is the first year that the event has had and solicited advertising for the event. Meta, Amazon, Google, YouTube, New York Stock Exchange all have exhibits. Partnered up to sponsor the event. Big tech, big money. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's been a tradition just to do it for the kids, and now we got Meta and Amazon. Them times are a-changing, everybody. So, anyway, Andy, we've had quite a few comments. We've had quite a few questions. I've been messaged a little bit. I've also seen on social media, on Facebook, why don't we have the death penalty, or let's bring the death penalty back. There's a lot of chatter. Montana, what's Montana's stand on the death penalty? And the death penalty is alive and well in Montana. Did you see what I did there? Alive, well, Montana, death. All right. Bum. Don't we have a set of drum? We need to hire a drummer in here. So when okay. It is, like I said, we have the death penalty here in Montana. The Montana has not carried out an execution. In over 17 years, okay, we haven't had an execution in 17 years. Last execution, Andy, was carried out in 2006 when David Dawson, he was executed by lethal injection for the kidnapping and murder of the Rodstein family in a Billings, Montana motel. Yeah, in 1986, he took a family of 4 hostage next door to the room, tied them up, beat them to death, killed them. The daughter, the 11-year-old boy, mom, dad, 11-year-old boy died. The daughter was 15, raped, assaulted. She lived. He was executed for that. Rightfully so, Andy. Rightfully so. But since 2015 now, there's been a, what do they call it? A de facto moratorium? Is that where I'm at with this? A de facto moratorium, okay, on capital punishment here in Montana as a result of courts ruling that lethal injection method violated the Montana Constitution on cruel and unusual punishment. Right. I don't think that the victim in the Dawson case, they were, cruel, and that's to be tied up and murdered is cruel and unusual. But other states use gas, electric chair, firing squads. Montana allows for lethal injection or hanging. There's no doubt, Andy, there's no doubt nationwide that there is a debate, division, as of anything else nowadays, okay? Anything else, we got that going. When it comes to the death penalty, in 1972, the Supreme Court of our land banned the death penalty in the United States. That was ruled that it was unconstitutional. That was in 72. That retrograde, Manson family, exactly. Manson family were all convicted of death penalty, all of them. And then the Supreme Court overturned it, ruled it was unconstitutional. And however, in 1976, just 4 years later, Supreme Court, was like, well, we changed our mind. Let's reinstate the death penalty. And so the debate continues, right? Okay. Today, right now, the debate, there's people that are pro-death penalty, people that are not pro-death penalty, people that, come on, we're against it. People are like, we're against the death penalty because of religious grounds. It's like religious grounds. Well, doesn't the Bible say eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth? You would think life for a life, okay? But it's we're opposed to moral grounds. Moral grounds? Are you serious? Moral grounds? Guy murdered a family, okay? Kidnapped, murdered a family. Assaulted a 15-year-old girl. That's the kind of stuff you get the death penalty for, isn't it? Come on. How divided are we? Well, let's see here. 24 states allow the death penalty. 23 states have abolished the death penalty altogether. Okay? And 3 others, okay, that gives us 50. 24, 23, 47, 3 more states, California, Oregon, and Pennsylvania, they have government-issued moratoriums placing executions on hold in those states. Like Newsom in California wants to get rid of the death penalty and then put the 600 people that are on death row in California, okay, just in mainline population. Now, I don't agree with that. where do I stand? Well, where do you think I stand? I think it's pretty obvious. I'm in favor of the death penalty in certain circumstances, in certain crimes. Okay, you got to remember that as human beings, as a human species, okay, as our species, our most valuable commodity, okay, it is not oil, it's not money, it's not gold, it's not prestige or property, okay? Our most valuable part of our species is our children, okay? We reproduce, that's our purpose, okay? Heritage, tradition, that's the family, okay? So it's just like that in the animal kingdom, So we must fiercely protect our young, okay? And that's what they do in the animal kingdom, okay? That's why I'm so, to propagate, to reproduce, to have offspring. That's the purpose of our species, okay, or any species, whether it's, it doesn't matter what the species are. They're very protective in their young. And so I think that because our most valuable commodity is protecting our young, it's not oil, it's your kids, okay? If someone does something to harm them, throw the book at them. Throw the book. Throw the whole volume of books. Throw the whole library. Okay? Throw the building at them. Okay? In my life. Okay? In my travels, we've talked to it. I've been around a few blocks. I've been around the country. I'm in recovery. I've literally known people that ended up on death. I knew people on death row. Okay? Generally speaking now. Okay? Generally speaking. Model citizens do not normally end up on death row. Have innocent people ended up there? Yes. There's been incidents, yes. Are there people on there that deserve to be there? Bing, bing, also yes. Okay? Who do I think belongs on death row? Pedophiles, murderers, rapists, kidnappers, home invaders, terrorists. Serious, yeah. Crimes against humanity and family. That's the way I look at it. Montana, like I said, Montana's had a moratorium on a death penalty since 2016. There are presently 2 guys on death row in Montana. William J. Gallahan and Ronald Allen Smith. Ronald's from Canada. Yeah, he was a Canadian citizen at the time of his crime. Okay. Let's talk about Ronald Allen Smith. He was sentenced. He was sentenced to death in March of 1983 after he asked for the death penalty. He got convicted. He's like, yeah, give me the death penalty. Okay. In August of 1982, Ronald Smith, along with an accomplice, what happened to the accomplice? He turned evidence. He didn't have the gun in his hand. He was just at the scene of the crime. He was a prime witness. Okay, all of the above. All right. Now, these 2 were by their own admission. Ronald Smith was, He was like, yeah, we were tripping our brains out on acid, LSD. We were just frying, okay. They killed 2 Native Americans here in Great Falls, or here in Montana. They were Montana residents who had picked Ronald Smith up, and his partner while hitchhiking, okay. They're tripping, they're hitchhiking. These 2 guys pick them up. Smith then marched, they were cousins, marched Harvey Madman? Okay, Harvey Madman, 23, and Thomas Running Rabbit, 20, into the woods by the highway, and he shot them both in the back of the head with a sawed-off shotgun, 22 shot. He refused the plea deal that they had for him. He told the courts, I just wanted to see him die. I just wanted to see what it was like to kill people. Yeah. He would have had the death penalty, but they asked the plea bargain. He said, I don't need a plea bargain. I killed him. I wanted to. Got the death penalty, and then, of course, later he's like, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Changed his mind. Several execution dates have come and gone. I had each one overturned. The last time the Supreme Court refused to hear any more. His final appeal, it was in 2010. That was denied, and he has been waiting for a new execution date since. Yeah, Canadian citizen, they've been involved. Most recent statements were that we don't believe that we should get involved anymore because he's like a killer, basically. Now, William Gallahan was originally sent to the Montana State Prison because he killed Brenda Bargains in Billing, Montana with a baseball bat. So they send William Gallahan to prison, okay? And he got to prison, and he turned up with another inmate. Okay, he partnered up with another inmate, and then those 2 guys, William Gallahan and this Douglas Turner guy, they got together and they killed another guy that was in the yard with a baseball bat. So William Gallahan, Douglas Turner were now known as just a pair of American murderers who teamed up and killed 6 people at the Montana State Prison. Okay. On September 2nd, 1990, Turner, now you remember Gallahan was in there for beating Brenda up with a baseball bat in Billings, so that's why Gallahan's in prison. So anyway, on September 2nd, 1990, Turner and Gallahan, like I said, they teamed up. They beat to death an inmate called Gerald Pelagi. I guess he was a sex offender. Beat him up to death in the prison yard, and they used baseball bats. Right. So while they say, all right, we're going to throw you in maximum security. They beat this guy back. They're in maximum security, waiting for trial, and maximum security, secure maximum unit, maximum security. The shoe, man. While there's some secure lockdown, they partook and helped start a riot in prison on September 22nd in 1991, where 5 inmates were killed. Now, 5 inmates were killed. What was Turner in prison for? Turner was in prison for 3 counts of murder with a baseball bat. Okay, he killed a family. He killed mom, the dad, and the kid in Miles City, I believe. Came to prison with a baseball bat and an oar. Okay, so, and then he'd come up with Gallahan. So, right. And Gallahan's already in prison for beating up someone. So they've beaten 4 people, and then they team up and they beat this Gerald Pelegi bat, within the prison yard. And then, like I said, they're starting riots. They're starting riots, and they killed 5 people during the prison riots. No, not with baseball. I don't think they have baseball bats in the maximum security units. But what I did read and research is that they had fire extinguishers and broken pieces of metal and fence. Yeah, so they had clubbing weapons. So, right. So Gallahan and Turner that partake in this were convicted of beating the guy in the yard of the death penalty, and they got multiple more life sentences for the riot murders. Right. So yeah, they're just like they're killing people in civilization on the streets. Then they're getting to prison and they're killing people on the yard in prison, so they throw them in max, and they're like, hell with it. They're starting riots and killing people in max. Yeah, it's right. No, they're not both on death row. In 2003, okay, you had Gallahan and Turner and Smith were all on death row. And in 2003, Douglas Turner saved the taxpayers a boatload of money, and he committed suicide on death row. Yeah, how do you commit suicide on death row? That is beside me. I do not know. But he saved the taxpayer. It's a boatload of money. While Gallahan waits for his execution date. Altogether, there was 10 murders just by Gallahan and Turner. Okay? Turner killed 3 on the street, 1, and Gallahan 1 on the street, and then they killed 6 in prison. Turner killed himself. Gallahan's waiting for his execution along with Ronald Smith. Right, so we have 2 people in Montana. They're both on death row. They're both waiting to die. So once the moratorium, we had a thing, write this current legislation down in Helen. I thought with the Republican House and Senate, we'd get it passed. They didn't pass it. They're afraid of getting needles and shots in their arms. So that's basically why it's held up. You have 2 bad characters in death row, on death row in Montana, and as soon as the moratorium is lifted, they are done. So, okay, Andy, before we go, today in rock and roll, okay? Today, the artist, formerly known as Prince, died today, April 24th, 2016. We lost Prince. He accidental overdose, okay? Prince, accidental overdose. Prince was well known. He had back problems, hip problems, leg problems, falls on stage for all the performing he did, and all, if you've ever seen Prince, he was quite the performer in rock and roll. He just like Tom Petty. He died just like Tom Petty, and that was an accidental overdose. Basically, he's like, hey, you know, my back's killing me. My hips are killing me. I can't get a prescription filled until, you know, the first of the month. You got any pain pills? Bingo. You know, sure, I got some. Didn't know he was found dead in elevator in his estate in Minnesota. Yeah, you know, there's conflicting. You know, he wasn't an addict, but he was like Tom Petty. Okay, they knew that they were addicts. They were taking pills. They were trying to get, you know, injuries and age. Boy, don't you know that, injuries and age. Prince probably most, in my eyes, I know him, remember him as probably the greatest Super Bowl halftime show ever. I mean, come on, man. It's in Miami. It's pouring rain. I mean, just the rain is coming down, okay? Prince is down there, out there in his heels that are like 8 feet tall, playing Purple Rain in the downpour. And nailing it. Purple rain, purple rain. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn, man. So, you know, it just came up on the feed, you know, and I'm getting ready for shows or whatever. I go, what's happening today? You know, like what it came up earlier. You know, Abraham Lincoln's death train started from Washington to Springfield to this day. I don't know what year, but I know it happened today, April 21st. So, Andy, we're good. We're good. 50s all week, sunny, not sunny, cold, not cold, 20s. Who knows? It's spring and April. Hey, remember, spay and neuter. Okay? Adopt, don't shop. Foster, rescue, volunteer, and hey. Adopt a shelter pet today. Until next Monday, have a great week. We will see you later.